many years ago, my grandfather's from Rapacha, which is a native tribe just south of Mexico, actually central Mexico. And I've always been fascinated with native foods and cultures. And so growing up, my dad would take me out to, and my family out to national parks and reservation communities across the West to learn a little bit more about that side of our culture. And on one of those trips we took out to the Grand Canyon, we learned of, well, we hired a guide to show us around the southern rim of the Grand Canyon. And being that I love agriculture, I actually came to Chapel as an agricultural science student. I asked him, how'd you guys survive out here? There's literally nothing out here. It's just desert, a couple of trees, and rock. That's it. And that's when the tour guide kind of looked at me and was like, well, see those trees over there? He's like, that's the secret. He started telling me about all these amazing native foods that they use to sustain themselves. So that's really what inspired this idea to create a market for these foods. Because I had asked him, well, where can I get these foods? And he's like, well, where do you live? And I said, well, Los Angeles. He's like, oh, you're not going to find it over there, only in Indian country. And so that's when I realized that there's an opportunity to create a market in the urban centers where I knew my friends and families and neighbors would love these foods. And I knew it would also create an economic engine in these Native American communities where it's pretty obvious if you've ever driven through them, there's definitely struggling from economic depression. So that's really what kind of inspired this idea, and it's changed in the way that we originally started with the Navajo, but then we found out that the nut is incredibly difficult to source, obviously, right? There's a reason no one's done it. So we've been working with them to source the nut from the Navajo Nation, but instead we started with a different species of nut that grows in Pipe Country in Eastern California, Great Basin states, Nevada, and Utah. We built the infrastructure to get that nut out of the forest, out of the shell, and ultimately into a trail bar, which is our first of many lines of snack food products. So that's where we are.
At one point, you had thought of creating a trail mix, but you backed up from that idea because...
So we originally had a spicy mix. That was a lot of people's favorite when we had a soft launch, but that nut was incredibly expensive to source because our sheller, there was no shellers or machinery to get the pinon nut out of the shell, so we had to build our own, and our machines aren't that efficient yet to where every little, if we're about 80% efficiency rate, but losing that 20% kernel meat doesn't make it really worth to sell pure pinon nut mixes, so that's why we put them into bars.